Well, here we go with another edition of a Podful of Saints. Who would have thought so? Number 26 for the 2023-24 season. By St Albans City supporters. I don't mean by. I mean by St Albans City supporters for St Albans City supporters, of course, and anybody else with nothing better to do. With myself, David Tavener, laughing already, Jake Ellacott. That won't last.
Hello, Dave. Hello, Lee. Intro is a bit better this week than last week, wasn't it? I'll leave it at that.
Plenty of time for it to go wrong, and laughing out loud there, Lee Wood.
Speaking of by, you do realise there would be quite a few members of the boardroom who would want to see us just go away, wouldn't you?
Well, surely not the ones that ring up radio stations and complain when we get interviewed by the radio stations because we got something interesting to say and they haven't. Right, anyway. Lee, at the end of last week, you said, have I got a stat? Well, I've got one. I don't know if you saw the assistant manager at Hampshire getting interviewed after we thrashed them over there, because obviously the manager couldn't face up to it. But he said about how difficult it is to defend a 2-0 lead. Absolute tosh, of course. Nobby said it as well. Well, I've gone back to the start of a 2008-9 season. Since that game, that day, there have been 324 games we played in which the side has been 2-0 up. And out of those 324, the side 2-0 up has gone on to win 294 of them, which I think is pretty much confirms if you're 2-0 up, it's not that bad a position to be in.
Jake, don't roll your eyes, buddy. This is the sort of content that people are here for. Is it stats? Is it algebra? Who cares? It's good quality content.
It's something from someone who hasn't got a life. Right, we're looking back to last Saturday, the 6th of January 2024, when we gave Farnborough a damn good tonking, 2-1 at the park. Now, I thought at the time it was an interesting game, but not one that would stick in the memory for long because there wasn't that much goalmouth activity. And on reflection, I haven't watched the highlights. I think that's pretty much sums it up. The highlights are a reflection of it. Stuff on there, it shouldn't be on there because it wasn't that scintillating a game. But a good win. Who wants to go with it?
Only.
Okay, so this is where I'm at with the Farnborough game. Now, bearing in mind, like with everything that I say on this pod, I've got no solid foundation for this way of thinking at all, right? However, I thought it was really comfortable. Even when they pulled a goal back at the end, normally the City of old would sort of start to shit themselves and then normally we concede an equaliser. That game, I mean, we didn't batter them. They had some chances. We didn't, pepper their goal with great ferocity of any description, but I thought it was generally comfortable. I don't know what you boys thought because Farnborough were poor. They were poor. It was interesting because we had a few beers with a Farnborough game after the match. Marshy, hello, mate. He said a thing that happens every single year. They get to this stage of the season, and unless they're pulling up any, major trees, they just clear the ranks, consolidate, and save some money. And then performances, they do drop, granted, but they're probably a bit too good to go down. And that's where they are. They do it every single year. Unless they're challenging for a promotion or the playoffs, they don't seem to invest. The owners are quite happy and content at this level. I mean, you could see that on Saturday, couldn't you? I mean, there was no way that they were threatening our goal with any real sort of length of time. They had one or two chances, but, I don't know what you boys thought, but I just thought it was really, really comfortable considering.
Go on, Jake.
I have to agree with Lee, actually. I thought a lot of the game was fairly comfortable. As you both said, we weren't exactly creating a lot of openings. It was more half chances, if anything, wasn't it? And to be fair, Farnborough had one or two decent opportunities themselves. But for the lot of the game, I thought it was fairly comfortable. They didn't pose much of the threat. I think a lot of this season, we've had teams come up against us and cause a lot of threat. Not necessarily because they've been amazing, but because our defence at times has been really poor this season. So, thought defensively a little bit better on Saturday, which was good to see. And as Lee said, I thought we saw it out in relative comfort. We conceded the inevitable goal. We love doing that, don't we? But it was nice to see us not totally panic because how many times this season have we down, specifically at the park, and had that one goal go in for the opposition and think, oh God, here we go. So improvements there, I thought, not the most amazing win, but these are the sort of wins that if we're going to carry a bit of momentum now into the second half of the season, even if they're not spectacular, just get over beating those teams that were in and around us in the table something we hadn't necessarily done a lot of this season.
Yeah, Farnborough have not got a great record this season, and I agree with you. I didn't feel they really threatened us enough, and we defended well, we're comfortable. Looking at our first goal, Dom Hutchinson, a penalty right on the stroke of half time. He ran at them and got brought down in the box. I know you two didn't see the whole of the game Tuesday, but it's similar there. Two of the goals there, running at the defenders. The defenders hate it. And yeah, Dom dusted himself down, penalty straight down the middle. So once the keeper dives, it's going to be a goal. Decent performance by Dom overall.
I think so, but also on the other flank as well, Bowery. Where's this come from? He's suddenly been sort of transformed into a majestic winger, taking on people, passing to people in his own colour shirt. Bloody brilliant. I mean, the concept. I actually thought he played really well. His delivery is actually decent. He's got a good old swinger of a right peg on him. When he gets time on the ball, he's quite good at sort of picking the right pass. And the one thing I would say, he always looks to play forward, believe it or not. Him, Hutchinson, I think what we're beginning to see now, fellas, is those players who are finding their feet in the team. It's not the usual suspects who are pulling all of the strings. And hopefully, it'll be the start of a real sort of squad unity, because David's going to need that, isn't he? Because players will drop in and out of form. But yes, Hutchinson, superb. Bowery, even better, I thought, on Saturday.
Yeah, Bowery playing on the right side of midfield. As you say, he's going forward down there, putting in great crosses. Of course, taking them out with defence strengthens the back four as well. Who said that? But no, he's doing a great job out there. And that was one of our strengths last year, wasn't it? With Tafari Moore and Devontae Stanley on either flank. And I must admit, I still would like to see Hamid given a run out on the wing. But it's looking promising. It was interesting listening to Spencer Day, the Farnborough manager, after the game. He kept complaining about the heavy pitch. Doesn't he remember the pitches of the 70s and 80s and whatnot? Last Saturday he was fine. No problem with Clarence Park. A bit wobbly, but it has been for years. But he singled out Joe Partington, didn't he, in defence, their former player, just heading everything away. And Joe did well against his old boys, I thought.
Much better than he did in the return leg. Well, his first game for us, it has to be said. Yeah, and to be fair to Joe, he's not the most mobile. I mean, to be fair, at times, at one point during the game, he had a brilliant touch and turn. But at other times, he's not the most mobile. He can get caught out, especially by pace. And if you've got him in a defence, and I'm going to throw this back to a player that some people, newer fans, may not have heard of, someone like Ben Martin in the centre of defence, just there, big lump, nods it away. I don't mind that if you've got the players around him to cover. And we've now got that with Michael Clark alongside him, I think. Those two are actually making quite a reasonable partnership at the back now. And it's probably no surprise, actually, or coincidence, that Partington's better form is actually coming when Michael Clark come back into the team as well.
Yeah, as a fellow member of the Not So Mobile Club, what I would say is that Partington, again, is another one of those players that is grown in stature, grown within the team over the last month or so. Yes, okay, he can do the very simple things well, but you can start to see the fact that the captaincy is having a real impact on his game and his organisational skills as well. I think, yes, Tavs, you're absolutely right, mate. Having Clark alongside him as well is going to be beneficial, because Clarkie can sweep up and, cover over any mistakes that the Partington makes. But I think that there's a partnership there beginning to build, and I think we're getting that all around the pitch now. There's partnerships between the wingers and the fullbacks. The midfielders are starting to sort of join those dots and whisper it quietly. Tabs, you may not like it, my friend, but we may be beginning to sort of gel as a whole unit.
Good Lord. Yeah, Joe Partington, he'd be, 34 in April, so a few more years and he might become a decent player. Actually, you look back through him, he's got quite a pedigree, actually, hasn't he? He's done rather well in his life. What else we got? George Hoddle. His dad was there. No, was his dad there Saturday? He was certainly there on Tuesday. And a loan signing, I'm not keen on loan signing, but we thought when we got him, he's a good one. And he's turning out that way, isn't it?
A loan signing, unless it's Glenn McConnell, you mean?
Never heard of him. Never heard of him.
No, okay. Yeah, but
right.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Hoddle is that he does, for a flair player, a creative player, he doesn't mind doing the hard yards, and he puts his foot in, he sets the tackles and all that sort of jazz. So he's almost, he will become a complete midfield player without a doubt.
And our second goal was scored by Mitchell Weiss. I thought he had a very good game Saturday. He was winning so much in the air. He was causing so many problems. I thought he looked really confident. The other player I thought looked really confident. It may not have had the impact he had at Hemel when he played there, but Zane Banton. He just looks as though he's playing with so much confidence.
Oh, it's brilliant, isn't it? For a player to come back from the injury that he had and to come straight into the team is absolutely superb. But you have to say his role in the move that won the penalty with the break forward, good ball out from McNamara, and then for Zane to just run at the defence. We've lacked that this season, and it's brilliant to see him do that. And I say it's all down to confidence. And I actually feel like he's making the players around him confident as well. He's giving them a bit of a boost.
Great shot.
He's come back at almost the perfect time, hasn't he? He's having a real impact, and you just hope that he can carry on. Even if he's not going to be scoring every game, you can just see the influence he's having on the rest of the team at the minute. And to be fair, the defences we're coming up against, he's so difficult to track and mark, isn't he? He's everywhere. You can't just stick someone on him. He's everywhere all the time. Pops up on the left, on the right, in the middle. And he complements the other players around him perfectly.
Right. In the Farnborough side was Aaron Colours, that one player I thought I'd like to see in a City shirt. And they got him on loan from Dorking at the moment. Dorking Wanderers or whatever they're called. And all right, he had a decent game, but he didn't dominate it as much as I was hoping he would. And his one shot he had in the second half, apparently he's just been cited by NASA. But I still think he could be a good player for us. But anyway, there you go. Any other thoughts on Saturday? Another cracking crowd, 1,600 and something or other. Some of them paid full price.
Great crowd.
My thoughts are this, Tabs. I'm not entirely sure anyone's safe from your scathing, forked tongue of doom today, my friend. I mean, it was absolute. I mean, who do you like? Let's start with
that. Tony Turley, John Butterfield, Bobby Charles.
Well, yeah, but bless them.
Do you want a bit more modern? Steve Clark? How modern do you want to go?
Anyone in the current playing setup?
Oh, probably. I don't remember the names of the current players, Lee. Anyway,
you can't pronounce them, or you don't know them. There's a difference there.
Bit both. Right. Yes. What's that done for us in the league? Put us up to about 10th or 11th, hasn't it? As you say, we're sneaking up there. Is it all coming together? You do wonder. You look at the next 3 games over next Saturday to Saturday. 2 there you'd like to think are very winnable, and 1 which could be a little bit tougher. We could be getting ourselves into a nice position, but we don't want to run before we can do that, do we?
Run before we can do that. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, I think it's very easy, and I certainly am guilty of this. We get carried away with the wins and get so demoralised in the defeats. And I think there needs to be a bit of balance there. So, yes, just take each step as it comes. But as Jake alluded to there, we're getting key players back now, and they're beginning to make everyone around them stick their chest out and stand up a bit taller, and hopefully that will set us in good stead.
Well, talking of getting key players back, on Tuesday night, we're at home to Hitchin Town in the Herts Senior Cup, continuing our assault on all these major trophies, already in the Herts charity final. Originally, Herts FA put it on their website as going to be at Potter's Bar Ground, but it's not. It now could well be at Vauxhall Road. Apparently, there's a football ground there. But it should be sometime in early March, most likely. We'll wait and see on that. Anyway, that's a charity cup. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a Senior Cup. Hitchin Town Tuesday night. Players coming back. We had a young guy called Shaun Jeffers up front.
I've heard of him.
Well, we didn't play him Saturday. We didn't need him. Obviously, didn't need him. So we bring him in for his minor games. Bangs in four goals on his 150th game. But it's great. Shaun, fantastic. 5th hat trick. Michael Johnson back in the side. How good is that?
It is. Oh, it's great. It's sorry. It's great. No. It is. No. Come on. Don't do this. Don't do this. It's fantastic. MJ, superb keeper. as long as he's fit and he's not been rushed back. You know, I mean, that was the fixture to get him in, wasn't it? You know, just to sort of against his old club as well. He'd have loved that. I'm concerned about MJ's glass hands, but look, you know, if he's fit and ready to go, I were more than happy to have him back in between the sticks without a shadow of a doubt.
I think he gives us so much more confidence to have him behind him. He's just a reassuring figure. He's experienced. He's got a great record for us, particularly at penalties, of course. Good clean sheet record as well. It's a boost for the side. And Ryan Blackman was back in as well. But you've got to mention Shaun Jeffers, of course. Natural goal scorer, 4 goals on his 150th game. What a great way to mark it.
Yeah, I mean, firstly, I have an apology to make. Marcus Dilly, I was supposed to be meeting him at the game on Tuesday, and I was running a bit late. I had a meeting. He kept texting me, "Where are you?" So I'm coming. I'm just finishing up. Don't worry. Anyway, I managed to get there without the last sort of 20 minutes, at which point he had already literally just left. And I missed the 5th goal because I was looking at my phone, asking where he was. He'd already gone. But I did manage to see one of the 6 goals. The final goal, Jeffers' goal, brilliant goal. Decent crowd, I thought, as well. We were talking about crowds. I thought the club marketed it well. The prices were good. But I mean, Tabs, is it a testament as in to how little the fans care about these sort of county cup games? In fact, that, I mean, take out the equation, the Hemel game at our place where there was whatever it was, 800 or something. That was always going to entice a bigger crowd. What can we do as clubs to make sure that those terraces are a little bit fuller for these all important games? Because they still count, they're still competitive games, and it'd be really nice to have some of that league attendance transferred to these smaller cup competitions, mate.
I don't know, the county cup competitions, and there's a plethora of small cups. There's clubs at our level have pulled out a lot of them in recent years and all streamlined the ones they go in for. So maybe not so many minor cups for us now. But the county cups just don't attract supporters in the way that you would hope. The senior cup gains more interest, and particularly as you think on Tuesday we had a £1 ticket for 18 to 23-year-olds, which I think is ridiculous because most people 23 have been working for 6 years. They could be married, kids, could be in the army, doing this, that, and the other. Getting in for £1 is absolute nonsense when you've had supporters league that have been going for 30, 40 years, paying the full price, and they are just pushed to one side and taken for granted. It's ageist, but there you go. That's the way things are these days.
Married and kids at 18. We're not Hemel, mate, but no, I do get your point. Absolutely.
So that marketing is good in that respect if you're looking for that sort of thing, but it clearly didn't work. But it's such a cold night as well, Tuesday night, which didn't help. But generally, they do get small gates. Not much you can do about it. Hopefully, when we march our way to the final by knocking out Stephen as your Potters Barham next round, and whoever we got after that, we'll see a decent gate somewhere. But they're good games because, like Nobby's done, is use players who have been on the bench lately or coming through, like Kieran Gallagher. Kieran Gallagher, who's he? He played for us in the 90s. Kieran Gauthier, you didn't see it because you were on your phone or whatever. Love the overhead kick. You might have got it on the highlights. Terrific goal. Not what you expect from a player like that. So these games, in a way, they serve a purpose rather than a major thing, if you like. I don't know. You can probably explain it better than I can. You've got a brain, Jake.
Can I? That's the nicest thing you've ever said about me.
Come on, I told you that.
No, I agree, and I thought we saw that on Tuesday night. You know, it was a good mix of, well, you know, mostly first teamers, wasn't it? But also a few on the fringe that were able to get a bit of an opportunity, bit of game time. Now we've got players returning as well. The squad is looking healthier than it has done in about 6 months. So now I've said that, I suspect we're going to pick up 6 injuries on Saturday. So it's important you have these games to give them a bit of a run out, a bit of time, and assess whether they're ready to come in and, you know, help the squad, because we have got a lot of fixtures coming up in the next month or so. So you've got to try and use the squad as much as you can. So it was good to see. But, you know, the main thing that comes from it is the main thing from it
Sorry,
is it's like we hinted at the start, it's the senior players, isn't it, that came back in? Ryan Blackman, Shaun Jeffers, Michael Johnson. It's those three really that we're looking at, isn't it? And how they performed. Because all three could, undeniably probably go straight into the starting 11 for Saturday based upon their performances on Tuesday. And just on Michael Johnson, I was going to ask you, Dave, did he actually have much to do on Tuesday? It seems like it was very much one-way traffic. Kept a clean sheet, that was good, but, did he have much to do?
Funny you say about one-way traffic. It's not as if we peppered Charlie Horlock's goal with shot after shot. We didn't. We were just so clinical. Stan Giorgio, one of their players, he said St Albans were just so clinical. And we were. We stuck away a high percentage, but that's how we did create others. You would have felt if we had to get more, we probably could have done it. But if you look back at the first goal, beautiful move. All the while, his speed, he went charging past the left back, who looked a bit like one of us three, where he left him, and put the ball across, and Akanbi slotted it home. That's going to do Ibby a world of good, you would have thought, getting that goal after the Hemel game. So there's a bonus to come out of it. And then George Hoddle going through, and he had Ibby one side and Shaun to the left, and he put it to Shaun. Shaun hits it first time, round the keeper. That's good. I forgot what your question was, Jake, but it's probably a very good one.
It was about MJ, whether he actually had to do anything. And you answered with 4 other players that I didn't ask about.
I don't know. Well, yeah, MJ was playing. Well done, Michael.
One thing I would say, this is just fast. One thing I would say is that Hitchin have fallen right off in terms of their form and performances the last month or so. But another plus that I do like about this game is that they were there for taking, and we took the opportunities. We want to be ruthless because teams will do it to us given the sort of chance. So it's really good for us to start banging in goals, getting players back into form in time for the league on Saturday. So I don't mind that. That's another positive for me because we're creating chances. And if we have the opportunity to score 8 or 9, we should do that. We shouldn't take mercy on these teams. And it's really good for us. It's good for morale and it's good for the club to see us banging in goals left, right and centre, regardless of who the opposition is.
I don't know why, but I've always had a soft spot for Hitchin, probably because in the early 70s, when in front of a stand, we had that nice long line of daffodils, and it always looked rather nice. I lost a lot of bit of sympathy when they put us out of the cup in 96, was it at least? 97, something like that. But I talking to, I mentioned Stan Giorgio, his dad Steve on Wednesday, and he's saying about their injury list, which is terrible at the moment, and which meant they probably couldn't do themselves justice Tuesday because they couldn't get a strong enough side out. Whereas we've got players coming back and we've got a larger squad to start with, so we could cope with it. So maybe next year, if we get them in one of the cups, we see a closer, better contested game. But, enough. Talking of, sorry, Jake. Talking of Steve Giorgio. Many years ago, many years ago, he played for Farnborough, funny enough. And he was saying, I said, we've got Weymouth coming up Saturday week. He said, I gave away a penalty at Weymouth. Anyway, there you go. Next, what are you saying, Jake?
That was crap stuff.
I was just going to say, for any of our newer fans that have never been to Topfield to watch Hitchin, it's a great ground to go to and experience, a proper non-league ground. And they're a nice club, but they've had their real issues with, supermarkets trying to knock down their stadium in recent years. So it'd be well worth a visit for anyone if the Saints are ever away from home. It's well worth it.
They do have... Go on. I was just saying, no, they have changed. They've had to replace some of the wooden benches that they have for terracing. A couple of the more experienced supporters sort of took it upon themselves to sort of fall through the cracks. It was like the Krypton factor, but on acid. It was really, 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 really bad. They also do have an amazing award-winning matchday program, so do check that out if you're at Topfield as well. By the way, fellas.
Well, given the standard and non-league programs, Lee, I should think that blank page probably win an award in the Conference South this season, or whatever league it is we're playing. Right. Yes, shame to see those wooden terraces go, but my God, they were lethal on a wet day. Right. That's those two out of the way. Anything else wish to add on those on the Hitchin game?
No, let's move on. Speaking of lethal, Eastbourne in January. Let's go.
Lovely. A day at the seaside. 2 Saturdays running. We've got it coming up. Eastbourne, since Christmas, they sacked their manager Mark Beard, former Saints, of course, brought in Adam Murray, assistant manager at Cheltenham Town. He's got quite a pedigree behind him. I don't know if you two know much about him. You might have bumped into him or heard about him, Lee, with your contacts at the clubs.
Yeah, good player. I think the writing was on the wall for Beardy. I think, to be fair, it's going to be difficult down there. We either do really well or nowhere near as well. That doesn't seem to be like a middle ground. But it's going to be extremely tough. But that said, the upturn in form for us defensively, we're playing well. We're creating chances. We're getting Banton's back. Jeffers has just popped in for. It's things are looking up for us, boys, and I don't see any reason why we can't go there on Saturday and get a victory.
2 wins in 15 games for Eastbourne. The one before that run was their 3-2 win at Clarence Park when they twice came from behind to win. Thanks, boys. One match under Adam Murray so far was a 2-2 draw at Torquay, late equaliser there, which is not a bad start. Midweek, then they drew with Hastings United, was it, in the County Cup, and went out on penalties. 2-1. How can you lose 2-1 on penalties? But they did. And playing in that side was Mark Beard's son, Sam Beard. Now, according to the stats I've got here, he's made 11 appearances and got 9 goals. So come on, Ryan. You've got some catching up to do there.
Well, I'd say, come on, Adam, drop the other bloke's son.
Connection they've got. Basically, yeah. And another City connection. Scott Leslie's playing for him at the moment as well. Who's a son who played for our B team, academy team, whatever you want to call it, last season, and he's the son of the owner, of course.
Oh, look at that!
Always helps.
Yeah. I mean, it has to be said that in the summer, Dave, I think we mentioned this at the time, that Eastbourne, the new owner, came in, spent a lot of money, didn't he, and talked about data-driven football, etc. And I think to see them in the bottom 4 might be a surprise to some, not a surprise to others. But they have certainly spent the money on Adam Murray. The Cheltenham Town owner came out and said, we basically said to Adam, we'll double your wages if you'll stay with us as the assistant manager. He said, okay. And he went to Eastbourne, and Eastbourne said, we'll give you whatever you want. Just come manage us. According to a press release that I've read on, I think, the Cheltenham Live local newspaper website. So they clearly wanted him a lot, and there's a lot of investment there. I say he won the National League North last season, was it, with AFC Fylde, but didn't stick around much longer after that. So it's a big appointment, and I think he's going to be under a lot of pressure. They're not in a great position. I see they've already brought in a loan from AFC Fylde, which is quite a contrast, and it Fylde to Eastbourne for the rest of the season. Sire Legenza, who's a forward. But, they're going to be under pressure, and you just hope that we go there full of confidence, don't we? I know they're a good draw at Torquay, but then Torquay aren't exactly amazing themselves at the minute, are they? They're inconsistent form-wise. So we've just got to go there and play the good football that we want to. And I think, Dave, you mentioned it earlier. It'd be good to see us running at them directly on the ground and get some pace forward with Hutchinson, Zane, etc. in the team. I think we could cause them a lot of trouble, especially on that 3G pitch. My only hope is, it feels like every other season we go there, is we get someone sent off. So I just hope we avoid that. That's my main concern. It hasn't happened for a while, but I think I remember Clovis Camjo and Harvey Bradbury both getting sent off there a few years ago.
Go on then. We've had some others as well. Do you want to go for it? 2 others.
I think Percy got sent off there, did he?
No.
Well, I made that up.
Dean Hooper. And James Quilter.
James Quilter. Whoa, what a player.
Yeah, nice bloke James was, actually. Our record's down there is very good. We lost the last 4. But I think you're right. If we get at them, they're not going to be high on confidence. Get at them early. Don't try and take the sting out of the game early on. Get at them and unsettle them. We've got a bloke up front who scored a few goals. Sean's got 10 in his last 7 games.
Akanbi.
Other sides are aware of Sean's reputation. They are scared of him, and we got to feed off that.
Absolutely. I suppose the other big thing is Michael Johnson. Do you start him?
Yeah, well, I would if he's fit. Without a shadow of a doubt.
Ryan Blackman.
Yeah, good player.
I don't see why not. Because he's coming back into form at the moment. So Yes, as you know, I'd like to see Hamid out wide, but Hutchinson at the moment, he's deserving of his place.
Yeah.
So stick with that. Bauer's going to be on the right, isn't he?
Seeing as you've done your extensive research of reputable local rags, Jacob, what does the Eastbourne and Western Chronicle Gazette Daily Record think about the game coming up? Are they confident about the Saints rolling into town and coming away with 3 points?
I didn't read that. I've done my reading for the week. One article is enough. I don't want to stress myself out.
I'm here to lead, not to read.
We've got another game to preview, but before that, we talked about Eastbourne changing the manager, getting rid of Mark Beard, and news of Dartford having a change. You want to run with that, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, it felt like it was kind of inevitable at this point. But after a 2-1 defeat to Maidstone on Tuesday, everyone's best friend Alan Dowson and his plucky assistant Martin Tyler have been relieved of their duties at Dartford. So, I mean, can't feel too upset, can you, about it? But not much of a surprise either. Although the Dartford board were insistent they were backing him right until the end. But yeah, felt like
and they're such nice people as well. That they smack off humility and class all the way through. I mean, it's absolutely abysmal the way they've been treated. Shocking. Such nice people.
You say that, Lee. You want to have a look at the statement by Eastbourne about Mark Beard. It's gushing in praise, when it's slagging him off. It's so full of such contradictions.
I love when that happens.
It wasn't the best one in the world.
Done a few of them, mate, in my time, I've got to say.
And they've got another, the usual temporary manager going in, I believe, at Dartford.
Yeah, Tony Berman's back again for now. And this must be third or fourth spell he's had there. And bizarrely, quite a few of their fans on their forum want him to be the permanent manager. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, you mentioned about Torquay's form being up and down. They've had a better run of late until last Saturday's late goal denied and win. But Gary Johnson's getting a bit of stick down there, I think, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so as well. Most of the fans dislike him as well.
Yeah, but the problem is the genuine issue with that is that Johnson's putting in quite a bit of money. So with that, he can be as crap as he likes. I think the Torquay board have to take into consideration if you bin him off now. With it goes a substantial sort of financial element that it brings into the club. So there's different ways sort of dealing with it. I think Torquay, you've got to go in there and deliver success straight away. Otherwise, no matter who you are, you're going to be under the cosh, aren't you, surely?
Such a big club. Yep. Right, well, next game to preview, next Tuesday's game at the Beverley away to Hampton and Richmond Borough. They had a surprise 3-1 defeat at Braintree Town last Saturday. That was after 15 games unbeaten. Fantastic run. We're unbeaten in the last 6 against them, so obviously that's 3 points in the bag for us. You confident about this one?
No. I think this is going to be probably the toughest game we've had in a little while, actually. I think they've been brilliant, haven't they, for the last 2-3 months. 1 defeat, and you saw the Hampton manager after the game was actually quite spiky about Braintree. He was saying, "Oh, look at how they're celebrated. You think they've won the league?" Something similar to that. So they'll be looking to go for a revenge, won't they, over the next couple of games? So I think this will be really difficult, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bit of a slightly different approach to this. I wouldn't be surprised if we sit a bit more defensively, a bit further back, a bit more cautiously. But I have to say, I don't see much coming Tuesday night. Of course, weather dependent. That pitch of theirs is very unreliable. Hopefully, not a 5 p.m. cancellation this week. That'd be nice.
Of course, they wanted an all-weather pitch in the summer, didn't they? But it didn't come off. And admission, by the way, I think it's £18 on the gate. But go online. I think it's about £13. Much more realistic price for adults.
Or is that Eastbourne? I think that might be Eastbourne, Dave. I can't remember. It's one of the two.
Jake, it could be £2.50. He'll still bloody moan about the cost of it, mate. So it's really not. There's no issue.
Unless it's 1 shilling, he'll complain.
Yeah, 5 groats and a donkey. Here you go. Let me in.
Oh dear.
Hang on. Does a donkey come with a bale of hay? Right, Hampton, £19. Oh no, it's £19. 17 quid online. Oh, you don't save much. Yes, Eastbourne is 13 quid online, 18 quid on the day. Good God. These clubs are more expensive than us. I'm going to stick to Clarence Park. Right. Right, let's get some predictions. Eastbourne, who wants to kick off first?
How do I get on? What was my prediction for the Farnborough game, Towns? Just out of interest.
I think it's about 15 all, wasn't it? We'll talk amongst yourselves while I look this one up.
Okay, so
3-0?
yeah. Oh well, never mind.
Well,
Okay.
I know you've got the outcome right on the last 2 games, or last 3 games, Lee.
Yes.
Coming for you, but you're the only one who hasn't got a direct score yet this season, correct? You did go 3-0. You did go. No, you went 4-1 Farnborough, 3-0 Hitchin.
Oh, crikey. Okay, so Eastbourne, I'm going to go for a 2-1 Saints. Tricky, but I think we're going to have enough in the bag to, see us out. So that should be good.
Well, why are you there, Hampton?
Hampton, I think. Oh boy, 3-1 Hampton. I think, to be honest with you, that's going to be extremely tough.
Jake, who has not gone for a defeat all season, I think. No, you haven't yet, Jake.
Hey, Eastbourne, no, I'll go Eastbourne. I'll just follow up with a 3-1 Saints, and Hampton. Reverse psychology. Let's go for the first defeat of the season. 2-0 Hampton. Let's see what happens.
God, why do I hang around with such defeatists?
Go on then, Dave.
Eastbourne.
That says you, who stands next to bloody Tim Petty. I mean, good
that's
Lord.
True, yeah. Yeah, about 2-0. 2-0 up. Never a safe score. 6-0 Tuesday wasn't even safe. Right, Eastbourne. Come on, let's go something sensible. Let's go for a 1-1. I haven't gone for a win for a while, so let's go for obviously a 2-0 win at the Beverley. No trouble at all there.
Really?
Yes, I don't see a problem there. 6-0 last year. Who got the goals?
Oh, Tafari Moore got 3.
No, 3 players got 2 each.
Tafari Moore, Zane Banton, Kieran Gauthier.
Well done. Give that man a stick of Eastbourne rock.
I hope it's the same this year.
Right.
Well, it's quite hard because 2 of them aren't playing for us anymore, but I know what you mean.
Many thanks to those who've been watching lately. The figure's been quite good. And we've recently had a 500th hit for the Ian Allenson interview. First time one of the interviewers hit 500. There's loads of others on there. You've got Ian Ridley, James Gray, Ben Martin, Steve Clark, Alan Cochrane. You've got some great interviews on there. Well worth, Bernard Tomlin, well worth watching. And talking of hits from old ones, on there also is from a 96-97 FA Cup run. It's our win at Wisbech Town. And I believe you got some news about a player called Colin Omerbean who played in that game, Lee. His one and only game for us.
Yeah, so thanks. Sorry, you threw out under the bus there, Tabs, didn't you? I thought you were going to sort that out for us. Okay, fine. So, lifelong Saints fan, Ben Griffiths, he sent us a really interesting stat that basically, yes, as Tab said, he played 34 minutes for the Saints that day. He had to come off because, unfortunately, he was allegedly relentlessly racially abused by fractions of the home support, and he never played for us again. But Ben told us that the bloke he now runs a young football club for underprivileged kids who have produced the likes of Emil Smith-Rowe, Wan-Bissaka and Zaha amongst them all. And also he's got involvement with the Fulham first team as well. So, that's a really, really bright ending to a horrible start of the story. Wisbech away, I know I joke about going to these godforsaken places, especially when we were playing in the Southern Prem, Tabs, your Barwells and whatnot. So, yeah, but Wisbech, yeah. I mean, it was like getting out of that place. It was like the Hunger Games, seriously, with scarves being ripped out the back of the cars. Anyway, hopefully they've been dragged into the 21st century now, so that'd be fantastic. But it was a really good story, so thanks a lot, Ben, for that. Really interesting to see something good come out of that shocking day.
Oh, well. Was that Sean Shields' hat-trick, or was it a Bedworth? I think it was quite
I don't know. Yeah,
Bedworth. Happy days, anyway. A long time ago, wasn't it? A long time ago.
As you said, a number of our
Uh,
players have great sort of impacts, don't they, in football after their footballing careers have finished, and it's brilliant to see that impact, even if it often goes under the radar or not noticed at all.
I was telling this to sort of Tabs on the way to one of the games this year. Our former goalkeeper, Tony Roberts, is now goalkeeping coach at AC Milan.
Yes,
I
that's
mean,
brilliant.
you would just not, you wouldn't have put that together. I mean, he was a fantastic keeper. In my opinion, and I know I'm very much in the minority, the best keeper we've had in such a, albeit in such a short sort of time, but ex-Dagenham, QPR, Welsh international goalkeeper, their goalkeeping coach, ends up at AC Milan. I mean, that is just absolutely fabulous story, isn't it?
Maybe that's why MJ has a Inter Milan town. He's sort of just aiming for what he wants.
He's just, or just being stubborn, antagonistic.
You're right, it was Bedworth where Shaun got his hat-trick. We also got one in the FA Cup away to Ashford Town, Middlesex.
Stats everywhere. Stats.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
Right. I haven't given a score. Yeah, we have done that. We've done that. Right. We're done.
We go to the pub now.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, well, on that positive note, and look at that, Dave even has a list. It's almost like he actually plans these. We will speak to you next week. Podful of Saints on Twitter. Email link in the description below if you want to reach out and get in contact. And hopefully we will speak to you next week after 6 points for the Saints as we go marching on. Come on, you Saints. Bye-bye, everyone.
Cheerio.